to the audience and to the panel to this seminar about the project Raiding Africa. My name is Marit Kapla and I'm the artistic director of the Göteborg International Film Festival, and I'm going to try to be the moderator for this talk. It's great to have the panel here in Göteborg. From your left we have Gert-Jan Stuylenhof from the International Film Festival in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and beside him is Anocha Suwichakornpu from Thailand, who was one of the mentors in this project, and beside her is Emile Aimé, Shah Yibain ancestor from Cameroon, one of the filmmakers, and then it's Caroline Kamya from Uganda, who also made a film in this project. And beside me is Rikun Shu from China, who is representing the Li Xianting Film Fund, where the workshop took place, an active part in making it all happen. So I think we need to start with some brief explanation about what is the project Raiding Africa. And Gert-Jan is the person who took the initiative. He's a programmer at the film festival in Rotterdam, so please...
Yeah, I can do that. Or I should be able to do that. Maybe, I don't know if you were there, but I was here last year as well, explaining another project which I made the year before. The other project was called Forget Africa, which of course had kind of ironic meaning because I was making a project on Africa. For that project last year, I asked a number of filmmakers, international filmmakers, to come with me to Africa and travel a number of countries we don't know so well in the film world. I mean, I don't know if you know a filmmaker from Malawi or Zambia, but I didn't, so I thought maybe I go to Malawi and see if I can find a filmmaker. Since I'm a programmer, I have to come back with a program, and I was afraid I wouldn't find enough or not good enough, so that's why I took the filmmaker with me. He could make a film. I would be sure I had something to show, and in the meantime we would look out for filmmakers. That was the project. So there is a logic. I wanted to do something with the filmmakers I found traveling around. There's another thing I noticed, of course it's well known, sorry, that at the moment the Chinese are very important in the economy of Africa. You could say there is a new colonization going on in that sense, which I knew from like newspapers or television, but when I was traveling there, in fact only after a few weeks I realized I didn't see any Chinese and didn't meet them in the cities and things like that. And the only time I met them was in the airport. So I would take a plane from like Zambia to Malawi, and then suddenly the whole plane was full of Chinese. Which for me, I'm a programmer for Asian cinema, so also maybe it took 2 or 3 airplanes to realize what was going on, because for me it's very normal to be in a plane with only Chinese. So, and when the plane landed in the place, all the Chinese disappeared again. So then slowly I started to become aware of the situation, that there are millions of Chinese in Africa, but they stay at their factories, their oil extraction places and things like that, and there's no relationship.
I think it's good to just say something before we continue the talk, so maybe you can introduce what we are going to see on the screen.
Yeah. So this idea about this differentness of an African and a Chinese, Omelga thought that could be the theme of my movie. So what she did, she said, like, one of the different things of an African and a Chinese is the hair. So she just walked into any hair salon and asked them, "Can you do my hair?" And the reaction is wonderful, because it's for them so strange. So I guess this, and it's all very nice. The Chinese were really kind and open for this, but you can see how they thought, how different it is. So I suggest we play the movie for a few minutes, so you can have an idea how this effect takes about. You can start.
国外挺奇怪的。来自哪儿？非洲，非洲。She thinks pure air is not natural air. If it's not natural air, what is it then? I don't know how to use the word. They think your hair is negative.
Okay. So now we've seen a clip from one of the films that came out of this project. But I thought before we start talking more about the project itself, it would be great to hear from you, Ancestor, some things about the starting points for this project. I mean, what Gerten has been talking about. First, the presence of China you're from Cameroon.
Yes.
And can you say something about China's presence in Cameroon?
Okay, most of them are found in cities like Douala, and in Yaoundé they are somewhere inside the farms. A lot of them have gone to the farms and they are doing cultivating some vegetables and other stuff. Then there are also some who are like in Douala. We have a lot of Chinese girls also who are also involved in prostitution. Yes, and then in Yaoundé, most of them they are in big shops. They are mostly in the shops in Yaoundé, and a lot of the construction works that is being done in Cameroon is also done by the Chinese. For example, the sports complex and even the Congress House, the main Congress House in Cameroon. Yes, I think, and then the relationship started quite a long time ago with our former president, the late Amada Ijo, who had a kind of, he had an agreement with the former president Mao Zedong. It's like once visited Cameroon, and from what I learned, they said Cameroon used to help China a lot economically, but today it has been the reverse.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what about China's presence in Uganda? What do you say, Caroline?
I definitely agree. There's a lot of construction industry, of course the catering industry, which everybody knows about. And now we've got a school, language school, where they're teaching Chinese at the university. And a lot of Ugandans are getting trained and traveling to China, so it's quite interesting. And recently martial arts, ironically, because when I was looking for a translator, I tried the university and then I tried the martial arts school. And although the communities do live quite separately, as you said, there is some mixing going on, definitely. And I think it's just a matter of time for the communities to work together more closely. At least I'm optimistic about that anyway. Yeah.
Let's move to Raiding Africa project. And yeah, help me out.
I can ask a question to you.
Yeah.
But this will come later. First, maybe it's good to explain this idea of mentor, which was for me also not clear right from the start, what the function or whatever needed. The first thing I thought when I had the idea of bringing African filmmakers to China, then I will have a serious language problem, because none of the I don't speak Chinese. None of the African filmmakers speaks Chinese. And I have some experience in China and working with Chinese artists and filmmakers. And in most countries you will find filmmakers who can speak English, but not in China. Mr. Zuri-kun is an exception to the rule. All the others don't speak English. So my first thought was, I need somebody next to the filmmaker who can translate. But since I also work on very small budget, I didn't feel like hiring translators. I mean, they translate, and for the rest they do nothing. So quite soon I thought I should ask filmmakers who can speak Chinese, and some better than others. I'm not trying to study very hard. So they can help, one person can help out in the language, in the filmmaking, and I asked like good, talented, experienced filmmakers to help them, so they could help them out in all kind of ways. So this, in that sense, the project is kind of mini workshop. It's like one teacher, one student, then I decided that the African filmmaker should be in charge. It's the African filmmaker making a movie. The mentor is there to help. So there can be no confusion about who makes decisions about which actor or which camera or things like that. So I must say that you quoted it in like catalog, that the idea of a mentor was a good idea, and I think so. It made the thing work. So I think it was important in this project. It made it work.
Yeah, so maybe since we have one of the mentors here, maybe I'm not sure. Maybe you could. You're a filmmaker from Thailand.
Yes.
Can you tell us why did you want to participate in this project?
Actually, Gertrude asked me if I wanted to take part in this, and yes, and I said I was counting 1 to 10 in Mandarin to him, and I was actually about to take up Mandarin before he even approached me, and so yeah, I agreed immediately to be part of this project, and then I started learning Chinese, but then because I was also traveling with my film, so it was going quite slowly. By the time I had to go to Beijing, I was still learning. So I mean, I could speak very little, but then I met Carol, whom we worked together on her film. So I wasn't really doing the translating, but we were just talking about the idea and the creative stuff about her film, and on the set I was just being a practical hand, giving help with whatever she needed. So it was more like a collaboration more than anything else. Yeah.
Want to say something about your collaboration?
Yeah. For me, what was really helpful to have Mai there was that I had somebody to bounce the ideas off. I wasn't totally on my own in this process, because the rest of the people there would help me with resources, where to find my team, how to find my crew and my cast. But you know, lunchtime I sit down with Mai and say, okay, I have this idea, what do you think? And then she pose questions. Why are you thinking about this? Does that really make sense? And it was really, really helpful on that side. So
microphone, please.
The DVD of her film didn't play, but we found the movie on YouTube. Trailer. Yeah. So maybe it's nice to show a bit of the result.
Yeah, let's watch the trailer for Firefly by Caroline. Come here.